you will be able to do 9 things. First, you will be able to describe what the General Teaching Council for Scotland is, when it was established, and what its statutory powers are. Second, you will be able to explain the suite of professional standards that the GTCS publishes for teachers at every stage of their career. Third, you will be able to describe in detail the 3 pillars of the standard for provisional registration. Fourth, you will be able to unpack each pillar into its component themes and indicators. Fifth, you will understand how each standard is evidenced in chemistry teaching practice. Sixth, you will know how to build a professional e-portfolio that demonstrates your achievement of every standard. Seventh, you will understand the progression from provisional registration through probation to full registration. Eighth, you will be able to describe the professional values that underpin teaching in Scotland: social justice, integrity, trust and respect, and professional commitment. And ninth, you will leave this lecture with a clear sense of professional accountability and a roadmap for becoming the kind of teacher the GTCS expects. That is your destination today. Now let us walk together. Why this topic matters. Dear students, before I explain a single fact, I want you to understand why this lecture sits where it does in the course. We placed it deliberately as Lecture 4, immediately after we mapped the system, the curriculum and the qualifications, because once you understand the landscape, you must understand yourself within it. Who are you professionally? What is expected of you? Against what yardstick are you measured? Those are the questions the GTC answers. Every observation forms your tutor, or mentor completes during your placements, is mapped to the standard for provisional registration. Every assignment you write for your university references the standards. Every reflection in your e-portfolio is evidenced against the standards. When you complete your PGDE successfully and your university recommends you to the GTCs, they recommend you on the basis of these standards. When you then go on to your probation year, you continue to be measured against the same standards, and at the end of your probation year, you are awarded full registration on the basis of a higher set of standards. So please, students, take this lecture seriously. You will hear the phrase, the GTCS standards, so often during your PGDE year that you may begin to tune it out. Do not. The day you stop paying attention to the standards is the day you stop growing as a teacher. The standards are not bureaucratic hurdles. They are the distilled professional wisdom of the entire Scottish teaching profession, and they describe the kind of teacher every pupil in Scotland deserves. Let us go in. What is the General Teaching Council for Scotland? Dear students, the General Teaching Council for Scotland, abbreviated to GTCs, is the independent professional regulatory body for teachers in Scotland. It was originally established in 1965, which makes it the oldest teaching council in the world. For most of its history, it operated under government direction, but in 2012 it became fully independent of government, a change brought about by the Public Services Reform, General Teaching Council for Scotland Order. From 2012 onwards, the GTCS has been a self-governing professional body, similar in status to the General Medical Council for doctors or the Nursing and Midwifery Council for nurses. Now please understand this point clearly. In Scotland, teaching is a registered profession, just like medicine and law. You cannot teach in a Scottish state school unless you are registered with the GTCs. The GTCS holds the register of teachers, sets the standards for the profession, decides on registration and deregistration, investigates concerns about teacher conduct, and provides professional learning resources. The GTCS has 6 main functions. First, it sets and reviews the professional standards. Second, it maintains the register of teachers. Third, it accredits initial teacher education programs such as your PGDE. Fourth, it operates the teacher induction scheme, which is your probation year. Fifth, it investigates concerns about teacher fitness to teach and conducts hearings when necessary. And sixth, it supports professional learning through resources and the professional update process. So, when you hear the phrase registered with the GTCs, what it really means is that you have been recognised as meeting the professional standards expected of a Scottish teacher, and that you are accountable to those standards throughout your career. When you walk into a Scottish school as a fully registered chemistry teacher, you walk in carrying that professional weight, the suite of GTCS standards. Dear students, the GTCS publishes several standards covering different career stages. You must know all of them by name, because they form the spine of professional progression in Scotland. The first is the Standard for Provisional Registration, often shortened to SPR. This is the standard against which your PGDE year is judged. When you successfully meet this standard, Your university recommends you to the GTCS for provisional registration. Provisional registration allows you to take up a probation post under the teacher induction scheme. The second is the standard for full registration, often shortened to SFR. This is the standard you must meet by the end of your probation year. It is more demanding than the SPR. Where the SPR describes the teacher you must be to begin your career, the SFR describes the teacher you must be to practice independently for the rest of your career. The third, for career-long professional learning, often shortened to CLPL. This standard applies to all teachers throughout their careers. It describes the qualities of a teacher who is continuously developing. The fourth is the standard for middle leadership, and the fifth is the standard for headship. These apply to teachers who move into leadership roles such as principal teacher of chemistry, faculty head, deputy head teacher, or head teacher. For your PGDE year, your focus is the standard for provisional registration. Hold that name firmly in your mind, SPR. Whenever you hear them, you should know that they refer to the standard governing your year. Let us now unpack the SPR in detail. The architecture of the standard for provisional registration. Dear students, the SPR has a clear architecture. It is built around three professional pillars. These are professional values and personal commitment, professional knowledge and understanding, and professional skills and abilities. 3 pillars. Just 3. Hold those 3 phrases in your mind as you listen to the rest of this lecture, because everything else flows from them. The first pillar, professional values and personal commitment, describes who you are. It describes your inner orientation as a teacher, your values, your beliefs, and your moral commitments. The second pillar, professional knowledge and understanding, describes what you know. It describes the knowledge bases you draw upon when you teach, knowledge of pupils, of curriculum, of pedagogy, of education systems, and of your subject. The third pillar, professional skills and abilities, describes what you can do. It describes the practical professional skills you demonstrate in classrooms, with pupils, with colleagues, with parents, and with the wider community. So, in simple language, pillar 1 is being, pillar 2 is knowing, pillar 3 is doing. Being, knowing, doing. Memorize that triple. It is the spine of the SPR. Each pillar is then broken down into themes, and each theme into more detailed indicators. We will now walk through each pillar in turn. Pillar 1, professional values and personal commitment. Dear students, the first pillar of the SPR is the most important pillar, although it is not always the most discussed. It is the most important because values shape every other dimension of teaching. A teacher with technical skill but no values is dangerous. A teacher with knowledge but no values is hollow. The GTCS deliberately places values at the top of the standards. There are 4 professional values that the GTCS expects every Scottish teacher to embody. Listen carefully, because these 4 words will accompany you through your entire career. The first value is social justice. Social justice means embracing locally and globally the educational and social values of sustainability, equality, and respect for all, demonstrating commitment to engaging learners in real-world issues to enhance learning experiences and outcomes, and committing to social justice through fair, transparent, inclusive, and sustainable practices and actions. In the chemistry classroom, social justice shows up when you treat every pupil with equal dignity, when you teach about environmental impact and sustainability, when you challenge gender stereotypes about who studies science, when you support pupils from disadvantaged backgrounds to aspire to careers in chemistry, and when you ensure that no pupil is excluded from learning opportunities because of cost, disability, or background. The second value is integrity. Integrity means demonstrating openness, honesty, courage, and wisdom, critically examining personal and professional attitudes and beliefs, and challenging assumptions and professional practice. Integrity in the chemistry classroom shows up when you are honest with pupils about what you do and do not know, when you correct your own mistakes openly, when you mark fairly and consistently, when you give honest feedback even when it is hard to hear, and when you maintain professional boundaries with pupils, parents, and colleagues. The third value is trust and respect. Trust and respect means acting and behaving in ways that develop a culture of trust and respect, engaging in genuine, open, and non-threatening dialogue with learners, parents, staff, and other professionals, providing and ensuring a safe and secure environment for all learners, and demonstrating a commitment to motivating and inspiring learners, acknowledging their social and economic context, individuality, and specific learning needs. Trust and respect show up in your tone of voice, your patience with pupils who struggle, your refusal to humiliate, your willingness to listen, and your dependability. Pupils must be able to trust that you will be the same teacher today as you were yesterday. The fourth value is professional commitment. Professional commitment means engaging with all aspects of professional practice and working collegiately with all members of the educational community, with enthusiasm, adaptability, and constructive criticality, and committing to lifelong inquiry, learning, professional development, and leadership as core aspects of professionalism and collaborative practice. In the chemistry classroom and beyond, professional commitment shows up when you read educational research, when you attend cert courses, when you collaborate with colleagues to improve teaching, when you volunteer for school events, and when you take an active role in your own development. So please remember the four values clearly: social justice, integrity, trust and respect, professional commitment. Four values, the foundation of who you are as a Scottish teacher. A useful memory phrase is SITP: social justice, integrity, trust and respect, professional commitment. Repeat it until it is automatic. SITP, SIP. Four values, one phrase. Pillar 2, professional knowledge and understanding. Dear students, the second pillar of the SPR describes the bodies of knowledge you must understand to teach effectively. Knowledge of chemistry is one part, but many other knowledge bases sit alongside it. The first knowledge base is curriculum. You must understand the structure of Scottish education, curriculum for excellence, the four capacities, the design principles, the experiences and outcomes, the benchmarks, and the SQA course specifications at every level you teach. We have already begun to build this knowledge base in lectures 1, 2, and 3 of these courses. The second knowledge base is education systems and professional responsibilities. You must understand how schools are organised, the role of local authorities, the GTCS standards, the inspection system, child protection legislation, the Equality Act 2010, the Education, Additional Support for Learning, Scotland Act, the GERFEC framework, and your duties under each. You will not become an expert in legislation overnight, but you must know the names of these frameworks and understand their key principles. The third knowledge base is pedagogical theories and practice. You must understand the theories that inform effective teaching: constructivism, social learning theory, cognitive load theory, formative assessment principles, Vygotsky's zone of proximal development, scaffolding, mastery learning. You must also understand the practical applications, questioning techniques, differentiation strategies, plenary design, assessment for learning. Module B of this course, from Lecture 7 onwards, builds this knowledge base in depth. The fourth knowledge base is learning contexts. You must understand how pupils' learning is shaped by their family, community, and cultural background. You must understand the social and emotional dimensions of learning, the impact of poverty and inequality, the importance of relationships, and the role of well-being in academic progress. The fifth knowledge base is literacy, numeracy, and health and well-being as responsibilities of all teachers. As we discussed in Lecture 2, every Scottish teacher is responsible for these three across the curriculum. The SPR requires you to understand them, plan for them, and deliver them in your chemistry lessons. The sixth knowledge base is subject knowledge. You must have a secure and substantial knowledge of chemistry, sufficient to teach with confidence and accuracy from S1 right through to advanced higher, and to answer the many curious, unexpected questions pupils ask. Your undergraduate degree gave you the base. Modules D, E, and F of this course will sharpen and structure it for school teaching. The seventh knowledge base is assessment. You must understand the principles of assessment, the difference between formative and summative assessment, the use of feedback, the design of valid and reliable assessments, and the specific assessment frameworks of the SQA. Module G of this course covers this in detail. So you see, students, professional knowledge is much more than chemistry knowledge. It is a constellation of knowledge bases that together make you a confident, well-grounded professional.